Who is Suzanne Powell? I'm a town girl. I was born in the north of Ireland in a little town, 20,000 inhabitants. Well, half of them are cows. And I've always considered myself like a Heidi from the mountains. And as a little girl, I always aspired to traveling far and wide, discovering other countries, other continents. And I never really imagined myself hanging around a town. So that's when I got the idea to study modern languages, really as a passport to travel. And I even went to work as au pair, looking after children when I was only 16 years old in the south of Spain. But I fell in love with that country, the warm sunshine, the funny people, nice beaches, and I felt so free, and I thought, I think this is where I want to come and spend a lot of time. So I got the shock of my life, or the surprise of my life perhaps. Big change happened when I was diagnosed with cancer, and I was only around 19 years old perhaps. And the doctor said that I had to go through a pretty severe protocol for cancer patients. And at that moment I was in shock, and I said, no, it can't be. I don't have time for that. You know, I have so many dreams that I want to fulfill, and I want to get out of here. I don't want to hang around Northern Ireland. So I remember looking up into the skies and saying, is there anybody out there? Really? You know, after a long, very, very strict education in a Catholic school with nuns, and we were all girls in school. And I thought, is there anybody out there? If there really is someone out there, please, I want a cure. And if I get cured, I promise I will dedicate the rest of my life to giving hope to people who may be in a similar situation to me. Well, something miraculous happened. I went off and did my sabbatical year out in Spain, but I was carrying that weight on my shoulders. You know, the doctors saying I had to go down the medical road, but I had no intention of doing that because I knew there must be something else. And I remember when the doctor said to me, Suzanne, you're going to go through this whole protocol. And I asked him, with the curiosity of the innocent little girl that was inside me, what chance, what possibility might there be if I don't go through that protocol? Could I get a cure? What would be the possibility of that? And I remember him looking at me like saying, oh, this poor young lady has no idea what is involved in all of this. And he said, oh, well, 1 in 100. And I just remember my eyes lit up. I thought, there is a possibility of 1 in 100. And I said, that's me. That's me. And I jumped up with joy after signing a bit of paper, turning down that treatment. I went home and I told Mum and Dad the full story, and they were quite used to me being a bit of an individualist, you know, having my own ideas and very, very clear mind about what I really wanted in life. So they just said, well, you just do it. Go ahead. So I did. And I got on an airplane, went to Spain, and I had this big black cloud hanging over me that had followed me from Northern Ireland. And I just thought, okay, here I am. Show me the signs. And they all arrived. I tell you, if I can do that, you can do that too. I met a very nice man called Mark Ams, and he put me on the right track. I did plans for healthy eating. I started doing exercise. My sun allergy disappeared. My asthma disappeared. All of my intestinal revolution disappeared, those problems. I had severe constipation, amongst other things. And I began to feel that peace within me. So I went to the gym, started doing exercise, I started glowing, and I started really feeling more like me. I did my sabbatical year. I really had such a good time. I went back to Northern Ireland to finish my studies, but I had a very, very clear idea that I knew what my intention was when I finished my studies at university. I did French, Italian, Portuguese, and Latin, of course. So when I finished my university studies, I headed out to Spain, and I was an English teacher to young kids from the age of about 8, 9, 10, up to senior school, up to 17-year-olds, some even were 18-year-olds. I spent 9 years, and they were my first masters. I had to learn how to conquer their hearts, get their undivided interest in what I was explaining to them. So I learned how to connect with them. It's not easy, being as young as I was at that time, to connect with youngsters who had absolutely no interest in what I was supposed to be teaching them. English, music, they weren't serious subjects for them. But I had great fun getting that connection. So when I finished dealing with teenagers around 15, 16, 17 years of age, then suddenly I decided to go down another path. And that's when I took off down the line of nutrition, geobiology, radiesthesia. I started studying holistics, connecting body, mind, heart, and spirit. And I thought, if this has worked for me, I must keep my promise. I must remember I said the magic words, I promise. If I find a cure for me, I will dedicate my life to other people, giving them hope. Not curing people, but giving them hope so that they too might receive that wonderful gift of getting your health back. Mental health, physical health, emotional health, but there was one thing missing. Spiritual health. I knew there was something missing. Sometimes my ideas, my advice that I was giving to these patients who were volunteers to listen to me worked for some but didn't work for others, and I thought there must be something missing there. Suddenly the universe, who's so kind, so generous, so abundant, suddenly serves that dish to me and says, take this, Suzanne. And that's when the Zen courses arrived on the scene. I met some wonderful people and I followed that path. The Zen courses, I made a great friendship with people who were connected to the Zen master. Let me just say that Zen courses have nothing to do with any religion. They have nothing to do with Zen Buddhism, for example. But Zen is more along the line of the concept of awareness. Be aware or conscious of what you say, what you do, what you think, what you imagine, what you project. Be aware like an innocent child. Be spontaneous, be natural, be you, be loving. Be yourself and imagine. The consequences are always there for your acts, for your thoughts, for your words. So this new tool that I had received absolutely free from the wonderful man or master who transmitted it worldwide became a new pathway for me, because I could see that the root of many of the problems that people were suffering from, their illnesses, their depression, their sense of not belonging in this world, could be fixed or could be healed using this special tool. So I became an instructor of these classes, and I just enjoyed giving the classes. I enjoyed healing people or correcting their nervous system and eliminating their blocks, physical, mental, emotional blocks. and spiritual blocks just using this very, very simple technique. Sometimes it was only a question of 5 minutes, and that could change their life completely. So, like my master used to always say, just do it. Don't think about it. Don't let your mind get in the middle. Just act. If you feel it, do it. And that's the right thing for you. So the time passed. I was perfectly healed from everything. My asthma, my intestines started working properly. I was able to do sport freely. I enjoyed even doing competition. Just running triathlons, duathlons, marathons. I was doing cross-country skiing, going to the gym. You name it, I was doing it. It was so wonderful to have my lungs working again after having been a serious, pathetic asthmatic all my life, feeling so limited in everything. And what a bliss, I could breathe again and do sport and enjoy getting out there in the fresh air, getting into nature and enjoying and absorbing being with Mother Nature. It was so perfect. So something happened along that pathway when all of a sudden, when my master died, I felt alone. I had a beautiful little darling girl 3 years just previous to that. Joanna totally transformed my life. But when he died, then I thought, now what is going to be of my life? How can I continue in this education and with these courses? And I thought, well, if he was alive, I think he'd probably just say to me, just do it. You continue. But to my surprise, so many people started arriving to take my courses. And I just thought, well, why limit the experience? So I started offering to more and more people. I couldn't believe it. My classes previously were just like 20 people. They started growing to 80 people, 150, 300, 400, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 per class. With all of this happening in my life, I had to set up a foundation to have a legal background and total transparency for all this social work that we were doing. Social work, including humanitarian work. We started creating projects and helping other projects around the world. I just thought, well, if we can get 1,000 to 4,000 people under the same roof with the same idea of wanting to help people, well, why not invite other people to help beyond that, make something like a continuous project, having started it. And that's the way things have been moving. And I thought, well, why is so many people coming out of the blue? There's so much cancer now, attention deficit disorders, depression. People are fed up. They're fed up trying, to cure themselves, just taking pharmaceuticals, tablets, medicine, and they're looking for something else. There's this deep soul searching. People are waking up. People are waking up to a new world, a new version, a new vision of this world. They need something else. There's so many political problems in the world, so many threats of future war, contamination, the pollution. We need to do something urgently to change all of this. So that's why so many people have started coming to the Zen classes now. It's surprising when you go to Mexico, they ring me and say, Suzanne, give us dates, please. We've got 4,000 people ready to join you in a class. So things started getting moving in Spanish-speaking countries. But we need to get into the English-speaking countries as well. Canada, we did a class last year in Ottawa for about 700 people in English with Spanish translation. It was just marvelous. It was kind of strange for me to give the class in English, because I'd never given a Zen class along those lines to a public, an audience of that degree in English. So it was quite an experience for me. So I said, well, let's try it again. Let's go again. And would you believe it? People came from all over to take the class. Not only Spanish people, Spanish-speaking people, but people were coming from all over Canada and United States of America, Britain, Europe, to take the class. So what's happening? Why all this sudden rush of people from all parts of the world? They drop everything. They take their families. Let's go on holidays and take a Zen course. All we have to do is really look around the world and see what's happening in the world and how we can change it. And I remember Gandhi saying, why don't you be the change that you want to see in the world? If we say we're all drops in the ocean, we can say the ocean, the entire ocean, is contained in each drop of water. So it's a matter of getting together with the same level of awareness and consciousness, joining together, holding hands, hugging each other and saying, yeah, we can be that new version of the world that we want to live in. We are all responsible for what we are co-creating in this world. We cannot point our finger and say, who's to blame? As humanity, we have permitted this to happen. We have permitted ourselves to fall asleep so that someday we could join together again, and the only formula is through love, unconditional love. Get back together again. We've got to remember who we really are, why we are here, why we are getting together again, and discover there is no separateness. It's time to get back together again. Time's up. Game over. Wake up, humans. I just recently wrote a book called Despertad Humanos, or Wake Up, Humans. As if somebody was looking at humanity from a distance, and saying, hey guys, game over, wake up, the dream's over, got to get on with evolution. I've written 6 other books as well, all with the same awareness project. Help people to get back to physical health, healthy eating, alimentación consciente, healthy menus conscientes. People need to get back to basics. You got to get back to basics. Food is basics. You are what you eat and you are what you digest. If you have a healthy lifestyle, you eat organic vegetables and fruit and salads. But if you can't digest it, what's the point? There's no result there if you can't digest your food. You're going to have a lot of intestinal upsets. So you've got to discover and know why you're not digesting your food. Stress related, emotions, ignorance. You need to get back on track. Very, very important. Conexión con el alma, connection with the soul, is another book. I think that's the most autobiographical book of the 7, where I open my soul up like a book and I explain my whole trip since I came to this world and how I connected with my own soul to be able to connect with other souls. My daughter plays a big role in that as well, helping me to wake up. That's her dream, to wait for mum to wake up, to share our path together. I think a lot of parents could identify very well with that soul connection. Atrévete a ser tu maestro. It's the only book for the moment that we've got translated into English. Dare to be your master. Yeah, dare to be your master. Stop putting masters up on pedestals. They're on a throne. They're humans like us. But that master that you are admiring is also inside you. Very, very simple book full of very funny anecdotal experiences. And the real message behind that book is, look at all the simple, funny stories and all the coincidences that I explain in that book. But look how many you experience in your whole life. and you just discard them and say, oh, it was just a coincidence. No! The universe is bombarding you with signals, with signs, and is waiting for you to catch on, and rather than just say, oh, what a coincidence. Look, that number's come up again, 2222, ha ha. No, the universe is saying, yeah, and what? Pay attention. What were you thinking at that moment? What were you planning on doing? What came into your mind just at the same moment when you said 2222? Huh? What's that? That book is just a mind blower. That really helps people just to catch on. To be more like a child and say, look, that's right. It's not a coincidence. It's real. It's for real. Yeah, we've got lots of experience like that we could share with each other if we all just sat down in a big room and said, tell me your story. Yeah, what makes you laugh? What makes you cry? What makes you upset? You know, and then you discover you've got so much in common with the rest of humanity. We're all looking for the same things, aren't we? We're looking for peace, peace of mind, peace in our heart, peace in our spirit, peace in our nervous system, peace in our digestive system. We're all looking for love. We're looking for abundance. We're looking for comfort. We're looking for attention. We're looking to be loved, and we're looking to love. Yeah, that's a basic formula for all human beings on this earth. And we just forget, we tend to separate. You go this way, you go that way. You're a different color, you're a different social status. Oh, don't look at me, you're a different religion. Yes, that's game over. Doesn't belong to that. We don't belong to that old version of this world. We're creating a new, better, updated, upgraded version. But first of all, in order to make that a reality, you have got to change inside and realize that what you are experiencing out there is what you've got in here. That's the reality. Stop looking out there. Wake up, it's in here. I wrote a book on cancer as well, because it's such a necessity. You've got to help people to find their peace. It's so much related to conflict, personal conflict, emotional conflict, frustration, stress. Get people back on track, find their peace of mind. That's the most important message in that book. The Collective Reset, or El Reset Colectivo, it's a book that's based on the conferences that I've given on internet or in audiences around the world. They're the basic themes, karma, love, waking up, abundance, the basic things that we're all looking for in life. It's just a synthesis. It's a summary of all of them, and it would be a good starter for most people just to get on track. It's a good book to give people as a present to read, because it's like scratching at you saying, come on, pick me up. But the last one, Despertad Humanos, wake up humans. Do you know what? I had a marvelous experience. My idol was Neale Donald Walsch. That's who I started off with. Neale Donald Walsch, Conversations with God. Oh, I never ever thought I would be capable of reading 3 books in the space of about 1 week. I couldn't put them down. Well, I met Neale Donald Walsch just a couple of months ago. I sat on the same stage with him. It was kind of like one of those supposed coincidences that aren't really coincidences. That's just something that the universe has got set up for us. It's no coincidence, no accidents in the universe. And he mentioned at one moment something that rang a bell, which was similar to what I had just written in that book. It was just about to be published. And I turned to him and I said, I've just written a book about the same thing. And he said, really? What's it called? I said, Wake Up Humans. His face was like a poem. He said, what? I have just published a book called Awaken the Species. And literally, we say the same things, but each one in his own language, with his own style, with his own vibration, frequency. But we had written the book parallelly. He was at the other end of the planet and I was in Spain when that happened, on parallel moments. And both books were published at the same time and out on the market more or less at the same time. And I told him when he said he had written that book, he says, yeah, I know. I discovered your book just a few days ago. I rang my dad in Newry, County Down, Northern Ireland, and I said, Dad, get me this book, send it quickly. And it still hadn't even arrived home. In fact, it arrived 1 or 2 days later. When a message has to be transmitted to humanity, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 or 100 people are going to be connecting to that same grid around the planet. When you connect with that grid, you are pulling in that information from the collective consciousness. So when 2 people at different points of the planet are receiving exactly the same information, they are supporting each other, which lends more credibility to the message that is being transmitted to humanity. That messenger could be you too. All you have to do is get rid of the dust on your antenna. Unload yourself of all that extra baggage that you don't need. Find your peace. Be at peace with yourself. Accept everything that's happening in your life. Be a real person. Be you. And accept the consequences. When you change what is exposed in your reality, it will also change too. Learn to let go. Don't be attached to anything. Detachment. And eliminate resistance. Because what is coming into your life, what really corresponds to you, according to your frequency, to your vibration in your program here and now, is doing its best, trying to get into your reality. Okay, take your hands down, no resistance, just let it come in, accept it. That's why it's so important to be at peace, relaxed, meditate, learn how to do conscious respiration, come to the Zen courses, meet new friends, be on the same wavelength to be able to connect with other people, and you will discover, undoubtedly, that those people that are coming into your life, that are resonating with you, that make you feel at home and at peace with yourself. That's your family. It's your cosmic family. It's time to get together. It's time to live the new version of the new world that is about to come in to this new reality. So I invite you to take a look. Look me up on the internet, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Suzanne Powell, and we will be available. If you want to contact me, you can contact me at the simple email address, subaby22@gmail.com, subaby, SUBABY 22 @gmail.com. And be patient. I get a lot of emails, but we will be there. Some way or other, you can just wish for it. Just wish for it and it'll happen. Dare to be you. Dare to be your master. Time's up. Now is the moment. Smile and feel at peace.